Renegade Immortal Episode 166. In the previous episode, Wang Lin finally reached the Ascendant stage after 10 years of cultivation. But his breakthrough immediately drew the attention of a mysterious black bone arm emerging from a giant silent vortex. This sinister force aimed to steal his newly formed origin energy, forcing Wang Lin to unleash his finger of death at the Ascendant level for the first time. Even as a gentle, invisible force tried to pull his origin soul away, Wang Lin's heart of slaughter and killing intent allowed him to resist, narrowly securing his soul. At the end of the previous episode, Wang Lin discovered a desolate plain protected by over 1,000 intricate restrictions, only to find a single, mysterious treasure growing inside, the Celestial Ascension Fruit. Yet, the relentless black bone arm was already breaking through the protections, drawing ever closer. What will happen next? Stay tuned. And the story continues. The Celestial Ascension Fruit isn't a rare fruit. Although it isn't common, it is even possible to get it on planet Suzaku. These fruits are about the size of a baby's fist, completely purple, and release a sweet, intoxicating fragrance. When eaten, they fill the body with excitement and euphoria, so intense that it almost feels divine. This is why it is called the Celestial Ascension Fruit. For mortals, this pleasure becomes an addiction. They would crave it endlessly. Cultivators, however, are less affected, though some still indulge in the sensation, losing themselves in that fleeting ecstasy. In the mortal world, only the rich and powerful could afford to buy such fruits from cultivators, paying heavy prices just to experience a moment of bliss that feels like touching the heavens. Now, before Wang Lin stretched an endless plain, an entire sea of these Celestial Ascension fruits swaying in a gentle breeze. Yet, he showed no interest in them. His gaze remained cold and alert. Suddenly, the armored bone arm broke through the restrictions and descended upon the plain. A flood of thick demonic spiritual energy poured out, enveloping the land like a storm of shadows. Wang Lin's eyes turned sharp and cold. He reached into his bag of holding, and a moment later, the celestial sword appeared in his hand. From within the sword, Shu Leguo's voice roared with excitement. Ever since his failed rebellion, he had lived cautiously, fearful of Wang Lin's wrath. Now, seeing his master draw the celestial sword, he decided he would redeem himself. He would prove his worth today. The celestial sword sang as it awakened. Normally, a sword's hymn was proud and noble, but this one carried a strange, almost filthy undertone, like a proud warrior dragged into a tainted battlefield. The bone arm lunged toward Wang Lin once more, its claw tearing through the air as the heavenly demon wind followed behind it, sweeping across the plain. But Wang Lin was prepared. His eyes turned icy as the heart of slaughter inside him awakened. In a flash, he swung the celestial sword, sending out a blazing ray of sword energy. The sword itself followed, transforming into a dragon-shaped stream of light as Shu Leguo took control and charged forward to meet the arm. The two forces collided violently. The bone arm reached out to grab the celestial sword, but the moment its fingers brushed against the blade, a violent sizzling erupted, like ice meeting molten iron. Shu Leguo laughed triumphantly, thinking he had gained the upper hand. However, in the next instant, demonic spiritual energy surged out from the wrist guard of the arm and flowed directly into the sword. Shu Leguo panicked, trying to break free, but the bone arm gripped the blade like unyielding metal pliers, holding it in place. Wang Lin remained calm. As the demonic spiritual energy filled the air, his right index finger rose slowly. His voice was calm, but it carried an authority that shook the heavens. Demonic finger. This time, he didn't use his own celestial energy. Instead, he transformed the demonic energy itself, bending the forces of heaven and earth through his cultivation at the Ascendant stage. Unlike the deathly chill of the finger of death, this attack was pure demonic might. The demonic spiritual energy began to spiral toward his finger like a vortex, forming a small black light that seemed to devour all light around it. With a flick of his finger, that black light shot forward, piercing through the air. In an instant, it struck the bone arm. A chorus of cracking sounds echoed as the arm shattered apart, fragments scattering like ashes in the wind. Shu Leguo quickly pulled the sword back. triumphant once again. But the battle wasn't over. A strange symbol flashed on the wrist guard. The shattered bones spread outward, forming a dark halo 10,000 feet wide, trapping Wang Lin inside. The demonic spiritual energy thickened, sealing him within a prison of black mist. Symbols flared on the wrist guard, and from within came the tolling of a bell, deep, resonant, and haunting. The sound reverberated through the air like it came from the heavens themselves. The demonic sound was 100 times stronger than the heavenly demon wind. Even with his slaughter heart, Wang Lin's clarity began to fade, his mind slipping toward chaos. His expression darkened. In one step, he appeared high above the ground. His hand formed a seal and transformed into a giant palm that slammed down on the wrist guard. The moment his palm touched it, demonic flames burst forth. From within those flames, a shadow emerged, a small, black figure with a single horn and a sinister smile. The shadow opened its mouth and laughed, a laugh so twisted that it made the soul tremble. Wang Lin's origin soul shook violently, but his eyes remained cold. His hand pressed down harder. The shadow laughed again, louder this time, creating shockwaves that shattered the air. The sound itself was not the true danger, the real attack was spiritual. The laughter pierced into his mind, tugging at his origin soul, trying to pull it out of his body. His slaughter heart began to crumble. Yet Wang Lin refused to retreat. He bit the tip of his tongue, blood spilling forth, and charged forward. His right hand seized the wrist guard as celestial energy surged from his body and flooded into it. The demonic laughter stopped instantly, but the black shadow dissolved into a cloud of energy and entered Wang Lin's body through his right hand. Inside, it became a tide of demonic power that rushed toward his origin soul. It was the demonic dance of confusion. Wang Lin's body fell back to the ground. Sitting cross-legged, he fought against the storm within. The demonic spiritual energy coursed through his meridians, creating countless illusions that tried to shake his soul apart. His eyes flickered with a ghostly light. He looked at the countless celestial ascension fruits around him and made a decision. With a wave of his hand, every fruit within 10,000 feet was torn from its branches, rising into the sky in a purple storm. Tens of thousands of fruits hovered above, painting the heavens violet. The demonic spiritual energy inside him intensified, trying to lure his soul out of his body. Wang Lin's face was pale and grim. He closed his hand, and all the fruits exploded at once. Their juices streamed together, merging and compressing over and over until, at last, they became a single drop, one drop of blood-red liquid, glowing faintly like a living heart. Without hesitation, Wang Lin reached out, grabbed that drop, and swallowed it. The instant it entered his body, his mind exploded with sensation. The pleasure of the Celestial Ascension Fruit surged through him 1,000-fold. Every nerve burned with ecstasy so intense it bordered on agony. His body trembled, but he forced his mind to focus. He channeled that overwhelming stimulation into strength, using excitement as fuel for control. The demonic power that sought to drag out his origin soul suddenly met resistance. His origin soul stopped moving. Veins bulged on his forehead. His eyes were bloodshot. The pain and pleasure fused together in his mind until he could barely tell them apart. Scram! His roar shook the heavens. The sound thundered across the plain as a dark shadow was forced out of his body. But the shadow struggled violently, laughing in madness as it tried to re-enter him. Wang Lin's expression twisted in fury. The power of the fruit raged inside him, pain and pleasure intertwined, feeding each other, forming an unstoppable force. Scram! He raised his head and his hand at once. Power exploded from within him, and the black shadow was thrown completely out of his body. It flew upward, shrieking. Wang Lin immediately gave chase. His bloodshot eyes burned with determination as his celestial energy surged once more. He grabbed the shadow with his hand, and his celestial spiritual power poured into it like a raging flood. The shadow screamed in agony and shattered, but in the next moment, it reformed 100 feet away, glaring at Wang Lin with venomous hatred. Wang Lin ignored it. The pleasure coursing through his veins had reached its peak. He could no longer suppress his power. He lifted his pinky finger and pointed toward the shadow. Underworld finger. At that instant, The heavens trembled. This was not an ordinary technique, it carried the full weight of his life and death domain. His will, his cultivation, and his soul merged into one. The finger descended like a judgment. The world dimmed, the sky shattered, and the ground cracked beneath its might. The horned shadow screamed, its body trembling in disbelief. It tried to flee, but there was nowhere to run. The underworld finger struck. With a final roar, the shadow collapsed into nothingness, torn apart by Wang Lin's will. Far away, in the depths of the ancient battleground, a furious roar echoed from the Black Tower. The will of the demon armor awakened for an instant before vanishing into the void. As silence returned, the 10,000-foot prison of demonic energy dissolved into mist. Wang Lin stood there, his right hand still gripping the wrist guard. It struggled violently, pouring out more demonic energy. But he held it firm, spitting out a mouthful of origin energy. He cast it upon the wrist guard, sealing it within a web of glowing light. Then, with calm precision, he stored the wrist guard inside his bag of holding. His eyes remained blood red. The effects of the Celestial Ascension Fruit still surged through his body, igniting an overwhelming battle intent, a desire to fight that could not be contained. This battle intent was extremely powerful, and it was impossible to suppress. Wang Lin waved his right hand and the celestial sword flew back and landed in his hand. At this moment, Shu Leguo didn't dare to speak, as the current Wang Lin made his heart tremble. In this episode, we saw Wang Lin trapped within a field of Celestial Ascension Fruits, facing the terrifying bone arm and the demonic power sealed within its wrist guard. Using his celestial sword and incredible control over both demonic and celestial forces, he unleashed techniques like the demonic finger and the underworld finger, battling not only the external threat but also the invasion of demonic energy within his own body. To resist losing his origin soul, he condensed the essence of more than 10,000 Celestial Ascension Fruits into a single drop and swallowed it, enduring immense pain and pleasure to gain explosive power. In the end, Wang Lin forced out the demonic shadow, destroyed it completely, and sealed the wrist guard, but the fruit's power left him consumed by an unstoppable battle intent. What happens next? Stay tuned for the next episode of Renegade Immortal. If you enjoyed this episode or found it interesting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to get notified about the latest episodes in Wang Lin's journey. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.